Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review on Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. If you guys don't know, Atul Gawande is a big-time surgeon in Boston, and he has won all of these awards for some scientific things that he's written, and this is his most recent and most popular book. The subtitle for this is Medicine and What Matters in the End, and that is really what this book is about. Atul explores what role medicine should play when someone is dying and it can't be stopped, and really what role doctors and caretakers should have in helping people at the end of their lives. He really explores two different types of reaching the end of your life. One, in the first half of this book, really addresses old age and elderly care and what that should look like and how to help elderly people transition from a life of independence to a life where they need some help to move around or to go to the bathroom or stuff like that, and what role medicine and caretakers should have in that. And then the second half is more about cancer and doctors playing a role in helping patients live a fulfilling and best life possible. And it's really what that definition of best. Is it longest or is it quality of life? Nook, what are you doing? Do you need something? Yeah, that's really what this is about. So it's not too complicated or anything like that. He's just discussing and giving some examples of people reaching those stages in their lives and what helps them the most. As usual with my book reviews, I'm going to go through my pros, go through my cons, give you my rating, and be done. My first and biggest pro for this book is that it just raises all of these amazing questions, and especially ones in the second half of the book when it comes to cancer, and really asking at what point do you give up chemo and fighting, killing off the cancer, and instead focus in on living a good life and not being in pain, you know, spending time with your family. And he also talks about how a lot of people don't even know that not doing anything actually ends up sometimes allowing you to live longer than going through chemo. So he just talks about the different situations that people have been in, that he's seen, and what works best for them. And with this, another big pro for me was his personal story that he included in this novel, with his family going through a similar situation where his father develops some type of tumor, and then they have to weigh the pros and cons of different types of treatment and when they should happen and when they shouldn't, and the type of care that his father should have, everything like that. It's all in here, and that was probably the most emotional part of this book. I've heard that it's very, very emotional, and I know people that have said that they cried at least once every chapter, but I didn't. But that was probably the most emotional section of this book. Another pro for me in this was in that last section. I liked the second section more than the first, but in that last half, he talks about finding out what people really want, actually finding out what people prefer when it comes to dangerous situations, or if they're not able to make a decision for themselves. What types of things are they willing to deal with versus what things are they not willing to give up? So is someone willing to be paralyzed as long as their mind is still there, or are they not willing to be paralyzed and they'd rather just move on? Do they want to be put on a ventilator? Do they want to be on life support? Those questions, a lot of people haven't really asked themselves that, and so when it comes time to make those decisions, people feel ill-prepared. And I really like that he brings up different ways to talk about those things and the importance of having that conversation with people that you love, so that if something happens, you're able to make the best decision knowing what they have stated and what their preferences are. Obviously, a pro for this is going to be learning about all those different people's experiences and going through those times with them and what affected them in what way, and learning what worked best for them, because it makes you think about what would work best for you. And it really made me think about what is important to my grandfather, not just being safe, which is what a lot of people think about, but what will make him the happiest in his elderly years. Even if he can't be on his own, what are the things that make him the happiest and what will give him a fulfilling next however many years? And my last pro that I'm going to talk about, I mean, there's a lot of pros for this book, but the last one that I'm going to talk about is the fact that he addresses the different types of doctors, and I think that that's something that people should think about in which doctors that they use and which doctors that they go to. He talks about three main types. There's the paternal type that tells tells you what you should do and what you shouldn't do and makes decisions for you. There's the technician type that gives you all the information. Here's the information about this drug, and that drug, which do this, this, and this. You decide what you want to do, and I will facilitate you in that decision. Then there's a third type of doctor, which is a more recent type of doctor, I guess, and that is where they ask you what you want first and then try to make that happen for you with their knowledge of medicine and everything like that. So I really liked learning about, oh my god, Nuck. What? I love you too. Off. I can't remember what I was saying. Now I'm going to talk about some of my cons. My first con is going to be that the first half of the book, while it was on aging, and I learned a lot and appreciated a lot of the things that were in that half, it just seemed like a lot of references. He states from this book, or from this doctor, or from this other person, this other source, then gives you the story and kind of comments on it. And I wish that he would have had more personal experiences with dealing with people going into their elderly years and the types of things that they want and everything like that. He did have some examples, but I wish that there were more and there was less. Well, this person did this study and this person did that one and they did that and they did that. Here it is. He seemed a lot more involved in the cancer section. I mean, he is a surgeon, so he does surgeries on cancer patients and removing tumors and stuff like that, but I wish he had been more involved in the elderly section as well. Another con would just be that I was expecting a very heart-wrenching, devastating read. I mean, if someone says that they cried a lot, I expect to at least get sad, but it seemed more bittersweet to me. It was very informative and very interesting, and at some points I did start to get choked up just a little bit, depending on the story and what was happening, but I wasn't devastated like I thought I was going to be, so I wouldn't say that this book is going to destroy you or anything like that. It is sad because people are reaching the ends of their lives, but reading how they get the things that they want and live fulfilling lives is more bittersweet to me than depressing. And my last con for this book is that towards the end of the novel, he decides to weigh in on the issue of physician-assisted suicide or dying with dignity, and I didn't really like that. It could be that I just didn't like his opinion on it because I have the opposite opinion, and I could understand where he was coming from, and I do understand his point with that issue, but I don't know, it seemed very abrupt in the course of the novel. It didn't really fit well into this. It almost seemed like he should have just written a separate article on dying with dignity or physician-assisted suicide, but he decided to throw it into here and it felt a little bit clunky and I just didn't like it. But that's it. I ended up really enjoying this novel. I gave it 4 stars. I was super interested in it, and if you have been wanting to learn more about medicine and how it's used when it comes to assisting people in their final years or their final months, etc., I think that this one is a perfect one for you, and I definitely recommend it. So that's going to be my review on Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read this book. What were your thoughts on it? Did it have a similar impact on you? Did it impact you more? Anything you want me to know, leave it down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.